position player now in the big leagues, but he's been so hot, he earned his way up here. When Haniger got hurt, he grounds that one into left field, base hit. And Matos, in his very first at bat, has a big league knock.
He was pretty excited about it, too. He got the hit, and he started clapping right away.
A great major league debut, and then he got introduced to Giants baseball. Well, welcome. We hit for you in your first game. Being playful, of course, but yeah, really nice job to stay calm and deliver for us in his first major league game.
Now, back to the morning roast with Bonte and Shasky.
All right, it's Kapler, Fleming, Luis Matos making his major league debut. We're going to bring in Carlos Ramirez, pre- and post-game show host on NBC Sports Bay Area when it comes to the Giants and the 49ers. And look, man, we're not disrespecting Draymond Green whatsoever. We're looking for solutions. And if you're a Warrior fan right now, everything, with the exception of Stephen Curry being untouchable, everything's on the table.
Should be.
Wiggins, Draymond, Looney, Clay, Poole, Kuminga. It's not just 2 guys, 3 guys. It's the entire roster outside of Steph Curry. Let's be real with ourselves. Let's be real.
You can't have
For 1 second.
You can't have it all.
So everybody's on the table. The franchise is Steph.
Do you know about the Rolling Stones, Monte?
A little bit. Not much.
You can't always get what you want.
Yeah.
You don't know what the hell I'm saying.
No, I don't know. It's nothing. And listen, when we talk about players, I know Shasky very well. It's like my brother. I want to kick his ass sometimes, but it is what it is.
It's difficult when I'm stronger than you.
Well, I don't know if stronger is the right word. It's because you lifted a couple 20-pound dumbbells. No. Oh, hey there. But seriously, it's nothing personal when we talk about these players. I know it's not personal when Shasky
business.
goes. We're talking about it's just business. We're critiquing the players. It's not personal at all. Nobody's mad. I got nothing. Draymond Green has been a pillar of this community. Draymond Green has embraced the Bay Area. He's been awesome. And see him become a father. I got nothing personal against him. It's basketball related. Everything that we say on this show is basketball and sports related. Nothing else, nothing more. But why can't Draymond be traded? I mean, we watched the Lakers series. Anthony Davis and LeBron James did not guard him and Looney. You cannot go to the 2-big lineup. And as a small ball 5, can he guard the bigs again? I watched him go small ball 5 against the Memphis Grizzlies without some of their guys like Steven Adams and John Morant. And they allowed the Grizzlies to damn near drop 50.
I would want him and Clay, Draymond and Clay, to be lifers if they were willing to take appropriate deals that were commiserate to their actual accomplishments moving forward, not what they've done.
Right.
Part of the beauty of Duncan and Tom Brady over the years is they took below market value deals. Right. And now Steph's not going to do that. You know why? Because Steph took a below market value deal on the front end. Mm-hmm. And I understand it.
Right.
But if he's not going to take a pay cut and these guys aren't going to take a pay cut, then tough decisions need to be made.
No doubt. And Tyler, I disagree with this. Draymond is always singled out because he doesn't drop 20 a night. Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole on these airwaves has been singled out more so than Kuminga.
And they do drop 20 a night.
Right. They've been singled out more so than any 3 players on this basketball team all season long.
Who's more important next year, Looney or Draymond?
Oh, wow.
The fact that that's even something that you have to think about, doesn't that speak to you where this team is right now?
Yep.
I think Looney's got a lot of arguments.
Looney game 3 was he dropped 9 assists in that game, grabbed over 20 rebounds, scored what he scored. It's a hell of a question. Let's ask Carlos Ramirez, who's on the line waiting. And Carlos, before we get into Luis Matos and your great sit down with him, I know you love your hoops. You bug the hell out of me when I'm down there at the studio giving me all your basketball takes. So I know you got a take on the Golden State Warriors right now. Carlos, good morning. How you been? Give us a take on the Golden State Warriors.
What's up? Before we talk Matos and Warriors, Shasky, word on the street is there's a basketball tournament getting built as we speak.
Okay.
Word on the street is there are 2 teams fighting for a certain free agent that might or might not be called Bonte Hill.
Really?
It is 95% of the game's team and NBC Sports Bay Area team fighting over this 6'5", beast of a player.
Well, Carlos, I'm going to stop you right there. My scout's eye tell me he's more, Kelly Olynyk than, Jokic. I'm going to be honest with you. I love Bonte.
Here's what I want to know. Where do you think Bonte Hill will sign? With the radio folks or the TV money? Where's he going?
Well, listen, first of all, it will be in a GM role. It will not be in a play. I've played in the World Tournament.
In a GM
I
role.
know I'm not built to play in that tournament anymore. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Bonte is fraud tape.
It's a physical tournament with a lot of young athletic stallions here. And I think some people here at 95.7 The Game, they think they're just going to walk on the floor and go out there and dominate. They got another thing coming. However, I know, Carlos, what's going on with the NBC sports team. And you know what? We got some things to do at 95.7 The Game. I may have to jump ship because the roster at NBC, Carlos, is coming together pretty well.
All right. Fair enough. I'm just saying. I don't want any. I know you have to see the radio folks every single day, so that might be the smart move.
Well, actually,
honestly, can I tell you what
sticking it to the radio guys actually feels a little better.
You know what the right move is, Carlos? Removing yourself from the situation because you don't want to catch any of the slander or the flack. Trust me, it's just easier to have something to do that day.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So, Warriors, listen, I don't know, man. I'm off the Jaylen Brown ship. If it's going to cost like Poole and Wiggins and Minga, and I'm off that ship. I don't want any part of that. If it's going to take that much, I'm off. Karl Anthony Towns, I'm willing to consider, depending on what it'll take for the Warriors to get Cat here. I think you got to find out what's going to happen with Steve's contract going forward. To me, that's the next domino. Because if I'm a player, if I'm a free agent, if I'm whatever, to me, the Warriors now are in a very much Giants 2017 state. When the Giants interviewed Bryce Harper, and I know this from Boch, one of the first things that Harper asked Boch was, how long are you going to be here? And if I'm a free agent and I'm going to sign here, the first thing I'm going to ask is, how long is Steve Kerr going to be here? Because now Bob's out, and I know Joe Lacob is here, and he is, he is the guy, but the guys beneath the guy matter as much as the guy in my eyes. So, and I know Bob's out, and I think Kirk Lacob and Mike Dunleavy are going to do a heck of a job. I do, but they're not Bob Myers. They have to prove it. And if Steve Kerr is not going to be here, and I'm a player, I want to know where he's going to go. Or, you know what, I'm going to go with Monty Williams up to Detroit, or I'm going to go with wherever. I think that's the next domino to fall because, again, if I'm committing here long term, I know Steph's got, 3-4 more years, then what?
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. I want to transition to the San Francisco Giants, and this team has just done a complete 180 organizationally. Forget the team on the field at the big league level. It just feels like the vibe, the feel, the optimism around the team is just through the roof right now. And I think it's the young players, obviously. But I'm looking at like Patrick Bailey looks the part. Defensively looks elite. I love what I'm seeing there. Offensively, he's obviously contributing. Casey Schmidt offensively looks the part. Defensively, he's elite, right? And then you see your guy, the Venezuelan guy, Luis Matos, come through yesterday with a base hit in his first at-bat. I mean, this is a wave of young players right now that we're seeing. I haven't even referenced Camilo Duval, which I want to get to in a second. Doesn't it feel like for someone who covers the team on a day-to-day basis, the tide has turned on this team, and it's because of these young players?
Absolutely. We had a graphic up here in the show, Joe, on Post Game Live yesterday, showing the youth movement, the new kids on the bridge. Not the block, but the bridge. And remember when Farhan Saidi, I said when he got signed, when he came here 5 years ago, everyone or every Giants fan was told, listen, by media, by even fans, the word on the street was, this guy's going to come here and do what he did with the Dodgers, which was build a farm system from the ground up, and every time you saw a Dodger player come up, he would come up and deliver. He would come up and stay. The Cody Bellinger mode, the Cody Bellinger system, because he was like the poster child for that system, and the Walker Buehlers and so on and so forth, right? Well, guess what? That takes time. And then if you put a COVID year in the middle of that, that'll push that timeline a bit more. But I think the timeline got sped up by whatever reason. Talent, the arrival of Pete Putila, who also did that with the Astros. Maybe it's a combination of factors. But I'm with you. I think it's here. And you were starting to see the guys that Farhan Zaidi drafted come up. So this is very much his vision of draft, develop, and attain talent coming to fruition. That combined with the clinical eye he's got for those fringe, underappreciated players that other teams don't seem to have an eye for, the Lamont Wade, the Blake Sable, the Tyra Estrada, even Wilmer Flores, who did have a role with the D-backs and before with the Mets. But these are players who were fringe, bench, or utility role players. Not here. We're talking about perhaps the best leadoff hitter in baseball. We're talking now about, in my eyes, the leading candidate for the Golden Glove in second base. To say that last season with Tyra Estrada,
that's incredible.
Yeah,
he was one of the worst.
I know,
second baseman in the game. He is now the best. He went from being 27th in defensive run saved to being number one. That's insane. Over a year. So yeah, I very much think that's his vision and the organization's vision coming to fruition right now.
You know, Carlos, I'm glad you brought that up because Estrada, to me, Lamont Wade has an argument as an all-star. If I was going to pick an everyday player, I'm picking Estrada because I just think he does so much with the bat that jolts this team. His base running's been outstanding. I mean, they're both great candidates to be an all-star. I think they'll get one for sure. Maybe they'll squeeze a second one in. But the Estrada thing, we cannot talk enough about Kai Correa and his development of the defense because I look at Estrada and I look at J.D. Davis and then I look at Lamont Wade at first base. Defensively, they are so much better than I anticipated on the infield.
Yeah, absolutely. And I spoke with Tyro a couple of weeks ago, and there's a couple of things there. One, he is healthy because last season he struggled with a couple of illnesses and he lost weight. So he lost 14 pounds last season. He had a rough. You know, it's really hard to put up that good weight you lost. Because I mean, if it's like fat weight, fine. If you're trying to cut some pounds, that's great. But if you're losing muscle mass, to gain that back while you're playing, it's such a tough ask because you're playing every day. You're losing weight. You're trying to gain weight, and you're traveling. It's not a good weight gaining environment. But he went into the winter and gained back those 14 pounds and then some. So he came in, I think it was at 197, one something, the heaviest he's been, but it was good weight. It was muscle weight that would allow him to be more athletic, stay healthy, be stronger, leg work. He worked over the winter with Wilmer Flores. They worked together. They lived really close by in Venezuela, so they worked together. Then he came to Tampa and also worked some stuff there. But the biggest thing for me, Joe, and Bonte, is the shift is away. The shift is gone.
Yep.
And people might think, well, how does that make any sense? Well, he was signed as a shortstop, so he is used to covering more ground. He feels more comfortable showcasing that range and being athletic. And then that turns into you're getting more confident. You're reaching to your right. You're going forward. You're going more to your left. You have more natural angles to cover, and that makes him feel more confident, and now he's playing better.
Carlos Ramirez here breaking it down on the Morning Roast. Sounds like Tyrone Wilmer Flores got that soda diet working, man.
Yeah, it does.
Soda, baby. SOTA, weightloss.com, Carlos, if you want to shed some pounds and get into those suits that you're rocking there at NBC Sports Bay Area. All right, looking forward here. They just swept the Cardinals. They swept the Rockies. 6 straight road wins. They're feeling really good right now. Starting pitching, though, is leaking some oil here. So what do you anticipate happening as the Giants navigate through June? A big 3-game set against the Dodgers this weekend. All right, you got the Padres, you got the Diamondbacks, you got the Mets, you got the Blue Jays. What do you think Farhan does here? Does he go out there and try to get another pitcher, whether it's Stroman, Bieber? What do you think the Giants do ahead of the deadline?
Yeah, I think that's the clear weakness of the team right now, which is funny because how things change in a couple of months. When the season started, we were going over this on the preview show. We were saying the strength of the Giants is going to be their rotation. Webb, Cobb, Wood, DeSclafani being back, and Jacob Junis, and Sean Manaea being perhaps back, and now they signed Ross Stripling. Yeah, they lost Rodon, but hey, this guy pitched out of his mind last season with Toronto, and then you have Kyle Harrison coming up, and Sean Gelly, and so on. So it was this embarrassment of talent. And now we're seeing 2 bullpen games a week. That's how baseball works. And we were saying in the weeks, and I remember this, the big weakness for the Giants was catching. That was their lowest graded room by FanGraphs. And now I think it's their best spot. I mean, with the bullpen, but I think everything has come together since May 19th when Patrick Bailey got called up. He makes everything make sense.
I agree.
From a pitching perspective. He made everything line up. So now what do you have to go get? Well, starting pitching. But guess what? So the same thing the Giants think or feel or fear or the things other 10, 12 teams feel. We're one pitcher away from being that team. I legitimately think, and the Luis Matos thing is a big one, because now you lost your big right-handed power hitter in Mitch Haniger for at least the foreseeable future. How long? We don't know. It's TBD. But let's say it's a couple months. It's not going to be an easy recovery for Mitch Haniger. And J.D. Davis will be back, and he's your elite right-handed hitter. But now the configuration of the team offensively changes with Luis Matos. He's a gap-to-gap hitter. He is a contact hitter. He's a line drive hitter. He can hit a couple bombs. Right. But he's not Mitch Haniger. He's a different player. But I think you have to go and target a guy. Listen, there's a list that I like. The number one list, of course, the number one player is Shohei Ohtani. What's he going to do? What are the Angels going to do? Are they going to keep him, sign him? Are they going to? If they're going to trade him, it's going to be this season, of course, because then he's going to be a free agent. But I think it depends on what the Angels do. But now the Giants are on a much better situation, guys. If you're going to go get Ohtani, for instance, or whoever, but if it's Ohtani, and I said this in the beginning of the year, the best thing the Giants need to do to convince Ohtani, if they trade for him to stay here, is tell him, hey, it's not just going to be you like it was in Anaheim, you and Trout. It's going to be you and this young core of studs that are going to back you up for the next 10 years plus. Well, guess what? It happened. Now it's Patrick Bailey, Casey Schmidt, Luis Matos, Camilo Doval, Logan Webb, Tyler Estrada, J.D. Davis, and Shohei Ohtani. Sign me up. And Michael Conforto, if you sign him up, lock him up for a couple of years.
So let me hold on. Let me get this straight here, Carlos, because I can't believe we're agreeing on something. You think the Giants should make a play for Shohei Ohtani in the next month or two?
Well, I'm not saying they will. I'm saying they should consider it.
I'm with you. I think they should consider it, no doubt. I think they should go all in on it.
Of course they're going to consider it.
Right.
Are you too crazy?
No.
Every team in baseball is considering Shohei.
But what Carlos is saying, Carlos, the point you're making is a point I made a couple of weeks ago. Bring Shohei in, and if you don't sign him in the offseason, well, at least you put your best foot forward, and you get the first crack at maybe re-signing Shohei Ohtani and bringing him to your organization. Give him the small sample size.
They're above 500. They're not trading him right now.
Well,
the Angels.
Probably not right now, but they can nosedive any moment.
Remember, and this trade deadline is August 1st, so we have a good month and a half to go.
Yeah.
So a lot can change, good or bad, in a month and a half.
I know,
right? So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Let's. I hear you. No, you're not wrong. I'm just teasing both of you because I know. That's what I do.
Go get Shohei.
No. I want to talk about a guy on the team. Let's talk about a guy on Camilo Doval. And you pronounce it Camilo? Is that it? Am I pronouncing it properly?
Camilo Doval.
Okay, I can't do that. I'm gonna butcher it. I hope I don't sound insensitive.
Say that, Shasky? Come on, Camilo Doval. You grew up in the Excelsior.
Camilo Doval.
Come on, you grew up in the Excelsior, man. It's ever since.
I can't roll my tongues out. My tongue that one.
Doval.
Camilo. All right. Anyway, and now I feel like I'm going to mess the name up even worse. This guy, baptized by fire. He got brought up in May of 2021. I remember me and B were arguing about him. I said, I think this guy has potential to be closer stuff. He's like, he's too erratic, whatever. Came back up in September, lights out. Game 5, gives up the big hit to Bellinger, 9th inning. Some guys crumble from something like that. This guy had the scar tissue. Last year, up and down, I think way more ups than down. And then this year, he looks superstar-ish. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. A guy who can command 101, 102 mile-an-hour sinker and cutter with that devastating slider. Patrick Bailey has him going heat first, off-speed second. I love where this guy's at. He feels like one of the most potent weapons in the game right now coming out of the bullpen. What do you think about Doval?
I agree 100%. I think he has, with Tyler Estrada and J.D. Davis, he has been the player who took the biggest step forward this season from last season for the Giants. The Giants needed a player who they can just throw out there in the 9th inning and forget about it. And just think about managing 8 more innings. because they know when the ninth comes and we have a lead, it's over. That's what think about the great Yankee team.
Yeah.
When they had Mariano. Think about great teams that did great things and just you manage more or fewer innings. And now the Giants say, well, you know what? We need 8 innings. Because if it's up to the ninth and we're up, it's a wrap. So usage rate. Can you think about any closer in the game, any closer who has 3 go-to pitches that he can go to at any time and be as efficient with either? Mariano Rivera
one pitch
made the Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame unanimously with 1 pitch.
Yeah, Hoffman had just the changeup and the fastball. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
That's it. This kid last season, Joe, started with 2 pitches, a cutter and a slider. And the slider was by far one of the best pitches in baseball. And he finished the season with a 43% usage rate on the slider last season, 30% cutter, 26% sinker. He brought the sinker up midway through the year. So it ended up being his 3rd most used pitch. This season, he is a 30-30-30 pitcher. 36%
wow.
32% sinker, 32% cutter.
I like that.
And he is averaging, the batting average against the slider and the cutter is 114, 133, and he's allowing 258 against the sinker. He is unhittable. The miles per hour average on the cutter is 100. The sinker is 98. So how do you hit this? And now he's calm. And now he figured out the time pitch, the time clock.
Yeah, the clock.
And now he's got a guy behind home plate who can manage and cover for him. And the connection with Patrick Bailey, I want to go back to one of the Rocky games.
Yeah, they were laughing together. I love that moment. That was my favorite moment. I know where you're going. The 9th inning.
Not just that. That's the one. And they were laughing because, and this is the nuance that a catcher must have to make a pitcher better. And again, the Patrick Bailey move, to me, if you're a pitcher, who wouldn't want to pitch to this kid?
I mean, Logan Webb's not doing the pitch comm, and he let him call the game the other day and shook him off twice out of 100 pitches.
Right. So go back to that Denver game. Camilo Doval, they get a grounder at first base. He's got to run from the mound and cover first in Denver. So what happens next? He's walking back to the mound. He's got a pitch clock, no runners on, so it's a 15-second pitch clock. What does Patrick Bailey do? He waits until Camilo gets back, and then he walks over to the mound. It's a 2-out situation, base is clear, 2 outs, but he knows this guy's going to have to suck some air here because he just ran from the mound to first base. It's not hey, what are we going to do here? How are we going to work this guy? Forget about that. It's an oxygen tank move by Patrick Bailey to relax his guy, to get him more time, get him some oxygen, get him some air, some breathing space, so he can gather himself and then finish the game. That does not show up on a box score. That does not show up anywhere. And that's what both Camilo and Patrick Bailey have done since he came up. Both came up. And I'm so excited about this. To me, he's the all-star for the Giants. If there's one guy who should be in Seattle, if you have to pick just one guy, to me, it's Camilo Doval. I hope it's more. I hope it's Tyro and JD and Lamont and Logan and everyone. But if it's just one, as of today, I think it's Camilo Camilo Doval.
Camilo Doval.
I like it.
Carlos is on fire, baby. He's on fire.
Good stuff.
Go enjoy your day off.
Yeah.
Go enjoy your day off, man. You deserve it. You and Laura do it in work, man. But if you need a fill in, I got a guy. And it's not Joe Shasky, maybe Sam Lubman.
No, you can FaceTime me too. Tell Pavlovich to move out the way.
No.
I'm teasing.
Listen, guys, thank you so much. I'm just going to ask you a question and leave you to wrestle with it.
Oh, boy. I'm scared. I'm a little nervous.
If you are the Giants and Shohei Ohtani does become available this season, what is hands off and what would you give away?
I'm just going to wait a couple months. I'm not going to give up. I'm not giving up any of my top 12 prospects in the system.
What's the guy's name? Wisenhunt that you guys are talking about?
No, you're not giving up Carson Wisenhunt. No,
Wisenhunt? Hey, Wisenhunt.
You've never even seen him pitch.
Hey, that's a good thing. I see Shohei pitch. I see Shohei pitch. That's what I've seen. And he's a damn good one. Oh, and I've seen him hit, too.
But he's going to be a free agent literally 60 days later.
I don't care. I don't care too much of Shohei. Are you kidding me?
He's testing free agency regardless.
Let me rephrase the question. If you have guarantees from Shohei Ohtani that if he comes here, he's going to sign a new deal.
Well, that's a different conversation.
Okay, so if it's a long-term deal,
I'll give them Reggie Crawford. I'll give them Reggie Crawford. I'll give them Alverson, who's in there. And these are all names no one's ever heard of. But, I'll give them Alverson, the shortstop that they've got in their system. I would consider Vaughn Brown. Those are the types of guys which are all top 12 prospects. Those are 3, probably more 6 to 12, depending on the rankings. But that's what I would be giving up because it is a rental on some degree.
Yeah, I think it's going to take more than that.
I agree
Carlos
with you. I agree with you.
The conversation would start with Cal Harrison, and then let's move.
Yeah, then I'm not doing it because they need starting pitching. And that's the one area where the Giants have not developed in a decade, and it's cost them in free agency.
Carlos, I'm all ears. These guys, Wizen Hunt, Harrison, you're right. I've never seen him pitch other than the highlights, but I've seen Shohei pitch. I've seen him hit, too. Hey, Carlos, get out of here. Go enjoy your day off, man.
All right, guys. Thank you.
See ya, buddy.
Anytime. Carlos Ramirez here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.